Have you, as a reader or an author, ever wondered what goes into those author collaborations you sometimes see? If so, you are in the right place. Stay tuned. I'm Reese Ryan, author of Sexy Emotional Grown Folks Romantic Fiction, and this is Story Behind the Story with Reese Ryan. And today I am very excited that I have two guests who are not only collaborators with me on the Men for Hire series that's upcoming, that releases on Friday, but also are just authors that I have admired for a really long time. And that is Sharon C. Cooper and Delaney Diamond. So, um, we're like I said, we're doing this Men for Hire series together about three best friends in this very unique service that they work or that they're associated with called Asher Service. So we'll talk a lot about that, and we'll talk about author collaborations and just our process and our three books in that um, collaboration that are coming out soon. So if you are as excited as I am to talk to Delaney and Sharon, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the show so that other readers will find it as well. We are a very interactive show, so if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the chat, and we will address them as we can, or as we have time. If you are coming to us from Facebook, there in the bottom of the description, if you have not done so before, you can scroll down to the bottom of the description, and there's a link where you can give StreamYard permission to see your Facebook icon and name so that we'll know who it is that's making the comment. Otherwise, it'll just say Facebook user. Either way, we appreciate you being here, but if you do want us to see your name and what have you, be sure to go down there and give StreamYard permission by using that link. So, I think that's all that I need to cover. Yep, name, profile, all that. I just want to get into the conversation. So I'm eager to talk to them both. So welcome to the show, Sharon C. Cooper, who's been here before, and Delaney Diamond.
Hello.
How are y'all doing this evening?
Hey, Reese.
Hey,
Delaney.
doing pretty good.
I am excited to see y'all. I'm also hot. Wonder why I'm so hot today. Okay, so let's get right into it. So, for anybody who is not familiar with both of you, I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to start with you, Delaney. For anybody who is not familiar with you, us a little bit about who you are and what you write.
Okay, so who am I? I am I'm Delaney Diamond. I've actually been published since 2010 with a small e-press initially. But I wrote my first romance, believe it or not, at 14. But I shared it with my friends. So it's just a little project that I had done. And it was called Captured Heart. It was about this non-Black Brazilian man with a Black woman because because I'd been reading so much of Harlequin Presents at the time. And so I wasn't really cognizant of the fact that I wanted to see heroines who looked like me. But in retrospect, I'm pretty sure that's why I ended up writing that story with a Black heroine. And then fast forward to 2010, like I said, I was published by a small press, and the first book was The Arrangement in my Latin Men series. And then I started writing Black romance as a self-published author the next year. And now I write contemporary romance, romantic suspense with interracial romance and Black romance. So that's my story.
I love it. I love it. And okay, so and then I'm going to ask you both these questions at the same time, and then tell us how you got into writing romance.
Oh, how I got into writing romance. Well, okay, short story instead of the long version is I got tired of my job, and I basically left the job that I was working because I actually used to love it. But then they hired some new people. It became a little unbearable. And so I decided that I was going to leave, and I left. And actually, initially, I wasn't even going to be doing romance. I just thought, it would be like a little side gig, and I was still looking for a full-time job. but the writing took off. So I was like, well, maybe this will be my new career. And that's basically how I got started writing, because I was lucky enough that, I became successful, particularly because of self-publishing. I was able to support myself and ended up just doing it full time. So I often say that the best decision, at least career wise, was leaving that company. And I'm so glad they got on my nerves, because it turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story. I love that. I love that. Okay, Sharon C. Cooper. It just feels so weird to keep saying your full name like that.
It's funny because when I go to reader events and readers approach me, they say Sharon C. Cooper. They say the full name, so it is funny.
So tell us a little bit about you
Okay.
and what it is that you write.
All right. For those who don't know me, I'm Sharon C. Cooper. I write contemporary romance, romantic suspense, and have dabbled a little bit in romantic comedy. I wrote my first, well, no, I published my first romance in 2012, but my first book was actually a children's book. And it was called But I Washed My Hands Yesterday. And yeah, and I didn't know what I was doing basically. So, but the story was good. And long story is a very long story. Long story short, a critique partner I had, this was years ago, mentioned that it would make a cool play, a children's play. And so I did a little tweaking, well, a lot of tweaking, turned it into a play, put it out there, and a company who helped produces plays, or I forgot exactly how they work. Anyway, they picked it up within a week.
Wow.
Sold my first play.
Wow.
Then years later, I'm going to skip a whole lot. That was when I lived in San Diego, moved to Atlanta, and decided that I wanted to, try my hand at writing a romance, since I was kind of devouring them. But one of the things I didn't find much of was African American romantic suspense. And so, even though my plan was to write sweet romance, when I did plan to write, and I started with a sweet romance, for sweet romance women's fiction was my first book, something new. And then, but I really wanted to write romantic suspense. So I started with contemporary, that one book that was a sweet romance / women's fiction. And it just kind of evolved to contemporary romance and then romantic suspense. But many people don't know Delaney and Chicky Brown are the reasons why, or how I kind of got how I got started. Basically, I met both of them at Georgia Romance Writers, them and Candace Shaw, and I hung out with, well, when I say hung out, communicated with basically Delaney and Candace, and I'll never forget. It was one day, maybe like the beginning, January, February of 2012. Delaney, being Delaney, was like, I don't know what you guys are waiting for. You need to just go ahead and publish the book. And I'm paraphrasing, but she basically just said, just get the book out there, because we both had a book that was written, just waiting, and I hadn't decided what to do with mine. If I remember right, Candace was trying to get traditionally published, but I hadn't really thought that far ahead, basically. And with Delaney's help and Chicky Brown's help, I self-published my very first book, and just kind of kept going from there. I think it was like I published in April of 2012. And then the end of June 2012, an editor at Harlequin reached out to me and asked if I ever considered publishing traditional. And long story short, that's how I got into traditionally publishing. So for a while I was hybrid. a hybrid author. And yeah, that's my story.
Wow. So you covered both questions then, the how, who you are, what you write, and how you got into it. That is so interesting. I didn't realize that. So y'all go way back.
Way back. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love that. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
so
she's
cool.
been driving me nuts for years.
I love that. That is so neat. That is absolutely neat. That's awesome. Okay, so I see. Let me go here and wow, oh my gosh. Okay, so there are a lot of you who've said hello, and we appreciate you from Facebook. Who you might not have at that time, at least have given StreamYard permission. So it's just showing that you're saying good evening, and we truly appreciate you. But if you do want to be able to show your name, go down to the bottom of the description on Facebook, and you'll see where there's a link, and you can give StreamYard permission to see your Facebook name and your Facebook profile photo. So, but good evening, Cassandra. Good evening, Jennifer, LaShawn. Hey, thanks for y'all for so much for joining us.
Hey,
And
y'all.
Jennifer said hey to both of y'all.
Hey,
Hi. Hey,
Jennifer.
everybody.
So,
Welcome.
y'all, that's a lot of y'all on Facebook. So thank you. We appreciate it. Hey, Veronica and Kay Edmondson. So thank y'all so much for joining us. And if y'all have any questions, be sure to pop them in the screen, and I'll try to address them as I can.
Me too, Veronica.
Yeah, Veronica says, I love romantic suspense. Hello to you, Ola Lawson. So yeah, okay. So I'm gonna start. We're gonna, instead of me just asking all the questions this week, just like we collaborated on this project, we're gonna collaborate on this show and ask each other questions. And so Delaney has the floor first with her questions.
Okay. Does it matter who I ask first, or just
Nope.
go ahead? Okay. Okay. Let me start with Sharon. So
See, she
Sharon,
always picks on me. I knew this was gonna happen.
Sharon.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene to write between the hero and the heroine in your novel, and why?
Okay, my favorite scene in Fiance for Hire. My favorite scene is probably a party scene, a birthday party scene. Antika, who is the heroine, her best friend turned 40 and was having this really big party. And not to give a whole lot away, Antika needed, I can't just say this. Antika hired Drevon to attend a couple of events with her because she needed a +1. And one of the events was this birthday party. Anyway, long story short, regarding the scene, he thought Antika was kind of innocent and, not necessarily quiet, but a little more reserved until he got her on the dance floor. And she loves to dance. Rap music is her favorite music. And so I enjoyed that scene because I could totally picture them on the dance floor, her busting a couple of moves on him that totally catches him off guard. And I think readers are going to enjoy that scene. It was a fun scene to write. I even laughed a few times myself,
I love that. I love that. And I'm going to pause y'all right here because I should have just given a little overview first of the series. So what the series about.
I didn't even think about that.
So it's Men for Hire is the name of the series. And at the center of the series is this company called At Your Service. And women can hire a man to do just about anything, from landscaping and completing a honey-do list to an escort to an event, which is what Sharon was just talking about. Is Antika hires Drevon to act as her boyfriend at these events. So that's the kind of the premise of the series. And our three characters are best friends. So Sharon's hero and Delaney's hero are cousins, and my hero is best friends with them, and they have been best friends since they were kids. So that's a little background on the story, and it's set in Atlanta, where both Delaney and Sharon live. So, and so that's the series. So, okay, so go ahead. Did you have more on that question?
So that I don't start rambling. No, I think that's it.
And when you were describing that scene, Ruby said she loved that scene.
Oh, Ruby received the art.
Yeah,
I'm glad
yeah,
you
I love
loved
that.
the scene,
Oh,
Ruby.
that's
I love
nice.
that. And we can't see who you are, but she says, love all you ladies, especially Sharon. So thank you. So
Oh,
we
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Right.
We appreciate you. And this question, I'm going to put a star by because I'll come back to it later because I am going to address that. Okay. I just want to check, make sure. Oh, and somebody, we can't see who you are, but it says it was off the chain. Okay. And that they can't wait to read the other two books. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So, Delaney, your next question then.
Okay, so my next question is for you, Reese. And this is what I want to know. I want to know if you share any similarities with the heroine Amaya, and also how are you different from Amaya?
Those are good.
So, okay, so that's when you. This is an interesting question. So yes, I feel like all my characters, men and women, have some kind of pieces of parts of me or whatever. Some basics with Amaya is she is a plus size heroine. She got the hips, so I got the hips. So I got that. She was kind of a growing up in school. She was, you know, a great student, but she was also kind of introverted and a little shot and not well a little introverted and kind of wanted to stay to herself. She got picked on. I had a lot of those similarities with that, not for the same reasons. She got picked on because of her weight or whatever. Me, it was colorism and being dark skinned or whatever. So we share. I was actually able to tap into some of that in terms of how she was thinking and how she felt about the people she went to school with and things like that. She is also has someone in her life who is on the autism spectrum, as I have people in my life who are on the autism spectrum. So there's that similarity. I know that there are tons of differences because, she's a shot calling record exec living in Atlanta who just built $100,000 pool in her backyard or whatever. So there's definitely some differences there.
So you can relate to that, right?
Yes.
You're a shot calling author, so
So yeah, so there's definitely differences there, but yeah, there are definitely a lot of things that I can relate to in terms of like just how she feels and what she thinks and stuff. So yeah, but excellent question. I like it. All right, and let me just look and see. Okay, okay. They're already gone. So I gotta get the Bible study with best wishes. Y'all keep on writing. I love it. Okay, so Sharon, what questions do you have?
What questions do I have? I'm gonna start with Delaney.
Really?
Surprise.
Okay, Delaney. Now, if a movie was going to be made of your book, either TV or big screen, what actors, actresses, or actor, the actress, would you want to play Montez and Desiree?
Okay. So the actress is pretty easy for me because I have a Pinterest page, which most of my books I have a Pinterest page for. This particular book, Boyfriend for Hire, I'm not sure I'm going to open it because I don't have a lot on it like I do some of my other books. But the person that I used as my inspiration for Desiree was this, she's not an actress actually, she's a model. Her name is Afia Bennett. And she just kind of looks sort of like Desiree to me. She's dark skinned, cocoa brown is how I describe Desiree.
Okay.
And then she has her hair straight, like there's pictures of her with her hair just straight back. And she just kind of has this regal, professional, elegant bearing that I thought looked like what I envisioned for Desiree. So that was pretty easy because she's on my Pinterest page.
Okay.
But as far as the actor, I would say maybe Brad James, and he's Keisha Knight Pulliam's husband, and he is an actor. And the
Brad
reason
James. I've never heard
Brad
of him.
I
James,
have
yeah,
seen. Yeah. Okay. I thought he
look
was
him
acting.
up, look him up.
I gotta look him
He's
up.
a
Let's see.
cutie.
I thought he was acting. Yeah. I've
Oh,
seen
that's
him
right. I
Yeah.
on
love him.
Instagram. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I just thought he might be good for Montez because he
I
kind
can
of gives.
totally see him
Can
as
you
one.
see that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because he kind
Totally.
of gives off the same vibe as Montez in my head. He looks like he could have a really good sense of humor. He could play a little cocky, maybe, but then you can tell that he's got this nice side to him.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's who I would say.
Okay.
I love that. I love
Those
that.
are good choices.
I love that. I love that. Nice. Okay.
And Reese, let's talk about your nickname addiction.
Throw her under the bus.
Okay, funny story. This was so funny. And during our collaboration, there was constant emails and phone calls, just so we could all stay on the same page, basically. And in one of the emails, Reese asked Delaney if she could call Montez Monty. I literally laughed out loud because I know Delaney. I'm like, there is no way she's gonna let Montez be a Monty. And so I could not wait to hear her response. And her response was no. So Reese, I gotta ask you, why is I know you are, and I think your nicknames are really cool because I've seen them in several stories. Why? What is it with the nicknames? And do you pick your characters' names so that you can create a nickname for them?
So okay. The thing with the nicknames for me is I feel like just from my background and just everybody I know, I feel like everybody I know has always had like some sort of nickname, right? And especially in communities of color. And I mean like some really awful names like Bouchang and Pink Toe and stuff, stuff like that.
I thought you were gonna say Pookie or something.
So like I'm
That
just
too.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just so accustomed to those, and and it was a nickname that that I had as a kid or whatever. So like I always think in terms of that. Like whenever I pick a character's name, I right away I'm thinking, can I shorten this to some kind of nickname? Because the other thing is for me, it's also shorthand for who the person is. Like right away when she was like, no, I was like, he's bougie as fuck. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I was like, well, that's cool. That's cool. So like I kind of think of like in terms of that. The people who are like, don't call me Angie, like I get it. So like I think of that in terms of like personality, but also like I think about, like as just even with people, even with those of us who do allow nicknames, like you only let certain people call you certain things.
Right.
And it's kind of shorthand for like, how close the relationship is and things like that. Or sometimes a person might use a nickname to annoy you. So, I don't know. That's part of the reason, I guess, why I'm just so into it.
I gotta tell you something too. I gotta add to that because in the story, I ended up using the idea of him rejecting the name Monty. So, because Royce, Desiree's ex, was like, "Hey, do you have a nickname? Does anybody call you Monty?" And he was like, "No." So thank you for that idea.
You are very welcome. I do what I can. I love it. But I love that. I love that kind of, collaboration and just how things like that make you think of things in the story and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Yeah.
was a ton of fun. Excellent question, Sharon.
Okay.
So one of the other things before I ask my questions is people probably want to know how the series came about. And I probably should have started there too. I'm just going like totally backwards in it. So Sharon, tell us how this Men for Hire series came about.
Okay, my memory is not the best, so you guys feel free to jump in there. But I know when me and Delaney were talking, I knew I wanted us to collaborate with Beauties. But at the time when I reached out to you, I don't know if we had an idea per se. I take that back. I do have a file of ideas, but I don't know if I necessarily had identified one particular idea until we actually all started talking. And I can't remember. I think Delaney said that I came up with the idea of having a series with men that are hired out. But I don't know if I necessarily came up with the name.
Okay. So I feel like I don't know how they get started, but I remember telling y'all about this husband for hire. That's what it is. It was like a company. So I don't know how it got started, but I remember me mentioning that. And that's how we kind of started talking about doing because there's a company that does something like that, like where they like rent a husband or something like that, what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's kind of what.
Thank you, because I couldn't remember exactly everything
to go in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah, but I remember like you DMing me on Twitter to ask me if I would be interested, and I was like over here like doing the running man. I was like,
I could feel that energy in your response.
I was so excited. So because like I had been wanting to do. I had wanted to be part of a collaboration. I'm not gonna lie. I had wanted to be a part of a collaboration with y'all.
Oh, that's nice.
I was super excited. I was like, one day, it was like I'm putting this on my vision board. One day,
that explains the excitement, because I really felt your enthusiasm with your response. I can't remember exactly what you said, but I'm like, oh, good. She's definitely interested.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, and I'm super glad that I said yes, because it definitely was a time when I was really, really overwhelmed with stuff and had so much stuff going on. And if I had had sense, I probably would have said no. Can't fit it into the schedule. But in retrospect, I am so glad that I did not allow my traditional obligations to keep me from doing this, because I would have been really upset with myself at this stage. So I am so glad that I said yes.
Yeah, and then for the readers, it did take years, for us to all kind of be able to, schedule this. So, yeah. What were you saying, Delaney?
Oh, I was just saying, I'm so glad that she accepted.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So one of the things we didn't get a chance, we were just on Midnight Ace's book bar show last Friday. And so we talked a little bit about the show and stuff. But one of the things when we talked afterwards that we were saying didn't get a chance to make it into the show in terms of talking about like the mechanics of how it worked, is the fact that we had this shared spreadsheet that we call like a series Bible. Mm-hmm. So that was something that helped all of us keep track of like characters' names and who drove what and who lived where and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Which was super helpful. And I found it very helpful to use in terms of finding out, information about y'all's guys. But what I was forgetting to do was look at my own stuff that I had written down for my so like as the series like went on and we started exchanging like chapters and stuff, I'm like wondering like where y'all are getting certain stuff from. I'm like, why do they think this, or why do they think she's a vegan chef? Because I had put it in the Bible. I had put it in the series Bible, and like I had totally forgot about it, because I probably wrote from the time I had to write that, the series, my stuff for the series, I probably wrote another 2 books for Harlequin.
I think you
So,
did. I think you had, yeah.
so I totally have forgot about all of that. And then, when I'm doing my own writing with Harlequin, like I might, or a traditional publisher, period, I might send them a proposal and it has all these things in it. And in my head, it's just light suggestion because I'm gonna do whatever the characters do or whatever happens or whatever. But you have to remember when you collaborate with other people, then that affects them. So you have to either have to let them go or stay on point. So yeah, but the Bible was very helpful. Delaney was the keeper and the creator of the spreadsheet that was the Men for Hire series Bible. So that was super helpful.
Yeah, because I think, didn't you mention when we were talking to that she and I, Sharon and I had both put that Jet had earrings, and you were like, "Oh, I gotta put the."
You had me questioning, like, hold up, wait.
It was so funny because, like, when we exchanged chapters, and when I read y'all, both of y'all mentioned that he had the earrings, and I'm like, I don't say that once in my story. I was like, I have got to go back and do that. Okay, so yeah, so that was super. I love that. Wow. Yes. Ola, we cannot wait for you to read.
Yes, definitely.
You guys are gonna enjoy the series.
Yeah. I was reading both of the books, y'all's books today, and I was laughing and stuff so hard. I'm like, I really want people to read this. So, and Veronica also says, I'm so excited to read the series. Yes, we're very, very excited for you to read this. And Ruby asked a question, and I'm already going to tell you it's too early to tell because I don't want to put them on the spot.
And I've learned never to say never. So
exactly, yeah.
But I will say I would do it again in a heartbeat because it was absolutely
it's been fun.
Yeah,
it was absolute pleasure,
and I love the way the stories turned out. I think that we were really able to capture their friendship, the friendship between the heroes, but then also like just incorporating different aspects of the characters in each other's books. It just flows so well. I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. I
do. I love how it turned out, and I love how, like you said, we really captured the friendship. And I thought that was really important for me because I do love reading, and I think a lot of romances capture female friendships really well. And I thought that this one, in addition to the female friendships, is the male friendships really sing. So that's actually one of my favorite scenes that I wrote, period, is the scene between the 3 of them when they're all playing pool and just giving each other a hard time.
Spanking Drevon.
Yes, spanking him.
Drevon.
Poor Drevon. I love it. Yeah. You never know, Ruby.
Yep, never know.
And Midnight, what was the thing behind the earrings? And it wasn't even like a thing. It's just that, like, in the series Bible, one of the things we also did was like wrote a description of our guys. And so like I wrote like my detailed description of them. And in the description, I decided this guy was going to wear earrings. I don't know. I think I was watching Usher.
Diamond
earrings. He wears earrings. And I just forgot to put it in my own description when I was describing him. And so I had to go back and make that change. I love it. Midnight says, okay, where does she go? I just saw one from her. Okay, let me catch up here. All right. Kay says, I'm looking forward to reading the series. And Midnight says, I think you guys have good chemistry. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun. Y'all were really easy to work with. LaShawn asked a great question. Is there an order to read the series? And I'm going to let one of y'all answer that.
Nope. You can read the series in any order.
And I love that.
Yeah. Because the stories kind of take place at the exact same time. You know, no matter which story you start with, you won't get spoilers, and you won't be lost. So you can read any story. In my opinion, you can read story.
I agree. I think you can start with any one of them.
Yep. And I thought we did a really good job of like making them address things without being specific. So like,
Yeah.
you know, so it won't spoil the other stories and stuff. So I really, really do love that. So now I'm gonna ask my 2 questions for y'all. You thought I forgot, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, so Sharon, what inspired you to make Drevon the model and actor and, you know, aspiring filmmaker, and Antika is the one who is the former professional basketball player?
Yeah, I've always wanted to write a male model. I did a female model in a story, but I had never done one for a male. So that's how it kind of got started. It just kind of, you know, the story just kind of took off in a little different direction than I initially planned. But the simple answer is I always wanted to write a character that was a male model, actor. So that part was fun. Now the Antika's part is a little different because normally I don't inquire with my sister about a character. She's special. She is she's that you know, you always had that family member when she walks in, everybody's excited to see them. You know, make a friend wherever she goes, just like walking sunshine, you know, probably like opposite of me, you know. And anyway, so I asked her to, you know, what does she think? I gave her an opportunity to help me create Antika's character. I could not use half of the stuff she came up with because they were just too far out there. But she had mentioned that she's probably like maybe 5'6" or something. And I never knew that she wanted to be tall. We're like 8 years apart. She's 8 years younger. And she said she always wanted to be tall like a WNBA player. And so she was like, I think Antika should be a WNBA player. I'm thinking, like, I am not writing a WNBA player. But then I was like, I could make her a former WNBA player. So it was a lot of compromising. My sister's favorite music genre is rap music. Go figure. Mine's is gospel. So we're like totally different, you know. And she had some crazy she wanted Antika to have a dog, wanted his name to be Scooby Doo. I mean, it was like just crazy stuff.
Scooby Doo. Okay.
Yeah. And so I did actually try to squeeze Scooby Doo in there, but like somebody else in this group, I kept forgetting to add him to the to the story, so I had to scrap him. You know, so it's like that's something that something that nobody else would have known. And so Antika was created with the help of my sister Loretta. You know, so it was a good laugh while creating Antika, but that's how she became a former WNBA player.
That loves rap.
Yeah,
that loves rap, right?
Love dancing.
I love it. That's very cool. And why was it important to you to make Antika a plus size character?
Yeah, well, Antika, you know, with plus size characters, plus size is different for different people. So Antika, in my mind, she's probably like a size 14-ish. And so I know for some that might be plus size, for some it might not be plus size. I know recently I kind of had this conversation. And I didn't want her necessarily skinny. Actually, Loretta, that was one of Loretta's, you know, she wanted her to be thick. Yeah, and so that's how I was like, how did I come up with that? I didn't come up with that. That was all Loretta. She wanted her to be thick.
I see another one of y'all Atlanta homies.
Hey,
Jill. How you doing? So yeah, okay. So your sister was hooking you up over there then.
It really was. I might use her again, maybe. But some of the stuff was like, I can't put that in a book. This is a romance for one. And it's not that kind of romance, you know. So yeah, she's a character.
That's funny. I mean, I love when like readers can contribute or whatever to a story in some way. So that is helpful. Like a lot of times I'll tap into my reader group for like the names of different places or the name of a band if I'm gonna have a rock band or the name of the inn in this last Valentine Vineyards book. So that's always fun when someone else is able to contribute and be part of it like that. That's a lot of fun.
Right.
Mhm.
I agree. So now what about your character who is also a plus size woman? What made you decide to go that route? I know I've already asked you questions, but you know.
No, that's cool. That's cool. That is a very good question. So for me, it's actually been something I've been thinking about for a while because as long as I've been writing, I always would describe my character as being curvy, but it didn't always necessarily translate to the cover in terms of
Mhm.
like they, I would, love a lot of the cover models and stuff that we have, but they're often so much smaller than I pictured my character
Mhm.
being. And so I am, that's one of the things, like, I guess in this whole kind of renaissance of me where I'm like trying to bring more of my authentic self to the table and write about the things I want to write about. I want to also, create more representation in terms of, things like body size. And so that's why I knew that I wanted to make her a plus size character. But a conversation I had with a friend of mine who also writes body positive and stuff, and we were talking about this debate in Romance Landia. And so she was like, because for me, in my character mine, I was thinking my character was like a size 18, and at first I had that in there. And, we talked about that. And, she was like, for some folks, even that they don't consider a plus size. And I'm like, well, the
Really?
manufacturers certainly do.
Yeah, I would say
And
so.
and so that might be a question we can ask to the audience. When you're saying plus size for a character, what's the minimum size you would expect that character to be if the character is described as plus size?
That's a great question.
That
Yeah,
is a
I
good
would love
question.
to know what
I
people.
always, I think even smaller. I always think like 16 and up, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
I feel like
Okay.
16 and maybe
Okay.
like 16 and up, right? Because I do feel like honestly that 14 feels like very average, especially in communities of color. It's like it feels more average
Mhm.
than plus
Mhm.
size or whatever. But definitely when you get to like 18, I feel like that's something you have to, go to a different department or different
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
start getting. So that's what I think of. But that is why I left it open. And I did, I absolutely talk about her curves and that she is plus size. And she was actually, considered chubby, that's one of the reasons she was teased in high school. But what I did not want to write is I did not want to write a story where, oh, she was, fat in high school, but now she's thin and beautiful. No, she's thin up,
She's still
she's
thick.
beautiful and she's a
Yeah.
bad bitch. And she's all of that, but she's also still fat. She's also
Right.
still plus
Right.
size and she's okay with that. So, she, lives a healthier lifestyle. She recently has gone plant-based and, she's doing some exercise and stuff. Though he does ask her at one point, he comes in and she's like, sweating and stuff. And he's like, did you go for a run? And she was like, me? If I'm running, you should be running too. No, I was not running. I did not
I
go do
laughed when I read that because I was like, me too, Amaya, me too.
I know, right?
I know. I do a lot of other exercises, but I am
But
not
not no running.
I'm
Right.
not running. So yeah, so it was important to me to make to show representation there and make her a plus size character. So yeah.
Yeah.
That was very intentional. So now my question for Delaney.
Yes.
Montez is very confident, almost bordering on cocky in who he is.
Bordering. He was cocky.
Yeah,
I was trying to be
I
nice.
was about to say.
It's who he is right now, but he wasn't always that way. So, what are some of the factors that went into building his character?
Well, I have to agree with Sharon on that. I definitely do think. Thank you for being so kind, Reese. But he's definitely cocky,
Thank you. Okay.
and, and I did write him like that on purpose. As far as building his character, it's it's funny. Like when I'm writing, I kind of start with the character's personality, and then I come up with backstory for how they came to be this person. And so in his case, he's very cocky and confident and sort of a playboy. And I had to come up with an explanation for why he would be that way. And so basically, what I decided to do was almost go in the opposite direction and make him someone who had self-esteem issues when he was younger, kind of like Amaya, actually. And so that writing backwards, I guess, in that way helps me kind of delve into the character and come up hopefully with unique explanations for why they are the way they are. Because typically you think, oh, he's good looking and, he's wealthy, so of course he's cocky. But for Montez, that's not why. It's almost like he overcorrected from when he was younger and he had low self-esteem. And now he's cocky and confident and trying to hook up with women on a Friday night and sowing his wild oats and all that kind of stuff because he didn't have a lot of those opportunities when he was younger. So, so that's basically it. I just kind of try to think of something, whether it's in the recent past or the long ago past, that could explain why the character behaves the way that they do.
I love that, but I tell you, I was reading, I read the first opening chapters where the meeting and their meet cute and all that happens, and the banter and the chemistry between them is just fire. It's just so
Thank you.
Love it.
It's fun to write.
Yeah, and I could feel that. I could feel that you were that you were loving these characters and their story and stuff. I don't know. It's just something about the both of them. Like right away, I was just kind of in love with them. So I love that. I love that. Question. Oh, so Ola says, I have pre-ordered author Sharon C. Cooper, his book, paperback. And when will the others be available in paperback? I can tell you today that I spent a couple of hours working on this very problem and trying to upload it to the paperback. Will be available, but it seems like Amazon was having some kind of issue today. So I did find that out. That much out is it seemed like several people were having problems in the back end and on KDP today. So it will be up, and I will probably make signed paperbacks available from my website, but you'll also be able to just buy paperbacks straight from Amazon as soon as I can get them up. So hopefully they'll be up the same day as the rest of the ebooks go out for me. What about you, Delaney?
Mine will be available on the release day. So the 29th.
Yeah. That's what that's what I want to have. Make sure I have mine up and available as well on Amazon, and then the ones if you want signed ones from the website, they'll be later. So that's a very good question. Thank you so much for asking that. Okay, and then let me check because we got okay. Midnight says, Sharon, you always have your females with jobs going against the norm. I love that.
That's from History of Myself.
Tell us.
I used to be a construction worker.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm actually a sheet metal worker by trade. And so when I think of my heroines, right when I think of their names is usually the next thing I'm thinking about is their occupation.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of build around their name and occupation as far as I build the scenes and stuff like that around that. So I really do try to find something unique, whether it's bartending or stunt woman or, just something and I do that for myself just to keep it interesting.
I love that. That jobs are a big part of who we are and what brings us who we are. So I love including that as a part. We have a Facebook user. We're sorry we can't see your name. If you don't go down to the bottom and give StreamYard permission to see who you are. But thank you, and thank you for being here with us. So good evening to you. And we have people answering that question about what they would say is a minimum for a plus size. So Ruby said 16. We have a Facebook user who says 18 and up. Okay, good.
Okay.
Amaya is 18, a size 18. Oh, and that's what my friend said. Cassandra said 20 and up. Okay, that's interesting. So we had a 16, an 18, and a 20 in terms of, and that's what she was saying. My friend was saying, it's just such a variety in what people think.
Everyone has their own opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. It's very interesting. Okay. I think we asked all that. Okay, so the next question, and somebody had asked this question before. I'm gonna try to go find it. So I'll let them ask the question because they asked specifically of Delaney. Here it is. Facebook user says, when is the next book from Delaney?
Oh, okay. So the next book is not till next year because Boyfriend for Hire is my last release for 2023. And so my next release will be in the Family Ties series. Bruno will be released early next year, probably I'm thinking in the spring. I don't want to give a date until I'm closer to the time, but it'll be in the spring. And then, of course, I'll also try to put out something from the Romantic Suspense series, the Cordoba Agency. And that will probably be Sanchez, I'm guessing. He's the explosives guy. And he's the one that's coming to me most frequently right now. So I'm thinking it'll be Sanchez. But for sure in the spring, you'll see Bruno from Family Ties, the chef in the family.
Okay.
I love it. Awesome. And Sharon, what is next for you?
Next for me, after Fiance for Hire, will be a Jenkins and Sons construction book. It will be Ben Jr.'s story, and the title is Bid on Love. I don't have a release date. I'm 99% sure it will be this year, though. But I don't have a release date.
Okay.
Yeah.
We like it. Me, I have 2 more books that are coming out later this year.
Y'all are killing it, and I'm sitting here 2020. This is my last release.
And I am
I'm jealous.
envious. I personally am envious of you because I had 7 books come out. This will be a total of 7 books this year. I mean, with the last 2, and it's a lot. so I am envious that you planned so well or whatever. So yes, I have 2 more books coming out as part of the collaboration series that I'm doing with Jules Bennett. The Willowvale Ranches, that is another Black cowgirl that have written. So I'm excited about that series. So then the next thing I would ask is, where can readers connect with you online?
Okay. Readers can connect with me either through my website, SharonCooper.net. Actually, that's the best way to connect with me. Or social media. It's hit or miss with me on social media, though. But I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. But if they, want to just shoot me an email, definitely, I always enjoy those. So, SharonCooper.net.
Love it.
And then, as for me, I agree. I think that it's easiest to reach me on my website, DelaneyDiamond.com, Delaney with an E. But I'm also on Instagram at Delaney Diamond Books, Facebook. Let's see, it's Delaney Diamond. And then I think on Twitter, it's author Delaney Diamond. So those are the 3 places where I hang out the most: Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But if you go to my website, you'll be able to connect with me there as well. I have a contact page. I have links to my social media there as well.
And 2 things. First, Kay Edmondson is giving Antigua a vote at 14. Since
okay.
Okay.
And Facebook user Pam, thank you so much for joining us, Pam. Thank you so much. Okay, and LaShawn says, can't wait for Bruno.
Thank you. I'm excited.
And can't wait for Ben's story. So that's
Great.
exciting. Yeah.
I'll try not to
Cool.
disappoint.
And said Delaney also has a reader.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And Jennifer is one of my hosts. She's my
That's
co-host in there. Thank you for the reminder, Jennifer.
love it. Love it. Jennifer's awesome. Awesome. Both our I don't know, I'm randomly spouting this, but our grandsons are like a month apart. They were born like a month, almost exactly a month apart, as a matter of fact. So
Nice.
I always think about that. The websites for both Sharon and Delaney are in the description of the show, as well as the pre-order links for Boyfriend for Hire and Fiance for Hire. And Date for Hire. You're gonna want to read all three because they're fun. It's just a fun series, and
It is.
especially like I feel like reading all three, you definitely get a better sense of all three of the friends or whatever, and so that is super cool. So like I am just loving these guys and their characters and these stories, and it's been such a great experience for me personally working with you all to do that. Y'all were so easygoing. I will say I've had really good experiences, period, on collaborations that I've done with other people. But the Jewel one I did with Jewel, she was like, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, whatever you want to do, I don't care. Whatever. I will say it was very fun, and it's I wondered if it was going to be more difficult with three people, or whatever. And it was just very, very easy and very, very cool. And just I felt like everybody was more than willing to say what they thought. Nobody didn't say, nobody kept back what they thought, but at the same time, I thought we were all, gracious and easy going or whatever. Because like Sharon, you'll be like, yeah, no, I don't like that, but whatever, majority rules.
I'm easy.
So it was a really, really, really great experience. So I appreciated it, and I feel like that comes through in the stories as well. And so I hope the readers will pick up on all of that. So thank you both for being here. I truly appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
You were welcome. Oh, and also I forgot to say too that Ethan, the buy link to Ethan also is in the description, and Vindicated. The buy links to both of those books that are currently already out of both of these ladies, if you haven't already read them, are in there as well. So it was great to have y'all to chat with y'all. And like I said, I'm still like, that's the thing, even as authors, just like actors, you see them sometime on award shows and they get all starstruck when they see another actor that they really like or whatever. Authors are the same way. So like I have definitely been playing the chill role, but I've been fangirling in the background all the time. I still break out and run man and stuff all the time.
That's so sweet.
So it's been exciting and it's been fun. And
it has been.
So I love that. And LaShawn said, I can't wait for the next Valentine's Vineyard book. Thank you so much for saying that. So if you already read One Summer of Love and Snowbound Second Chance, was this book 2 and 3 in the series. Since I started to say DeBarge. See, Pam, you got me talking about DeBarge. So since Desire is ending, I am going to finish that series myself. So there's no way I was going to leave those last 3 siblings hanging. So I get to do that in indie fashion, so I get to do whatever the hell I want with that series. And so Naya,
beautiful thing, let me tell you.
Yeah, and so Naya's gonna get the next book for sure. She's the chaotic by just wild little sister who says whatever. And I cannot wait to write her story. So that's going to be the next book in the series. And then probably her twin Niles, and then Alonzo, the middle brother. So, but I get to do it on my terms. Insert maniacal laugh. So, yeah, for sure. So, but you'll definitely see it. So when I am not sure, because I probably will try to do it next year, but I'm starting with a new series, which this book, Date for Hire, it's kind of like a prequel to this new series that I'm doing, Love and Music series. And so the Peachtree School of the Arts that's in this book is going to be like a focal point of that series, which is also set in Atlanta. So you'll definitely hear more about that in the future. So thank you all for joining us this evening.
Yes,
And if
thank
you have
you.
any additional comments, questions, or whatever, please feel free to ask them in the comments. We'll try to address them when we can, just whatever we could. Sometimes after the show, I still go back and I answer questions. So feel free to do that, or you can reach out to any of us. So, but I hope you will pick up the books, Fiance for Hire, Boyfriend for Hire, and Date for Hire. And we just hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed writing them. And would love to hear from you and what you think of those stories. So in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the show tonight. And the show next week, I don't even remember what it is. I'll get back to you on that. If you subscribe, you'll find out. If you're in my newsletter, you'll find out. And if you love author chats, interactive author chats, be sure to tune in to Shay Baby's Brown Book series. Her shows are on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I am about to actually go hop on Black Authors Matter TV. So if you watch them, you're going to see me tonight on that show as well. So I'll see you later. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night.